What's up, guys? Welcome to another video of Dev Talks with your host Travian, where we talk about everything engineering and technology wise. This video, we have another clip from Lex. He does some podcasts on a bunch of tech stuff that I see and everything. And recently, he sat down and had a discussion when DeepSeek impacted Nvidia in a big way of the comparison and the verses between the two of them. So I wanted to kind of take some time and just see what he had to say and him and a guest had to say about this interaction between DeepSeek and Nvidia, and then give my take on it as well too. So without further ado, let's just dive in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate it so much. And let's go.
Cheaper and cheaper. The big DeepSeek R1 release freaked everybody out because of the cheaper. One of the manifestations of that is Nvidia stock plummeted. Can you explain what happened? I mean, and also just explain this moment and whether, if Nvidia is going to keep winning.
We're both Nvidia bulls here, I would say, and in some ways, the market response is reasonable. Most of the market, like Nvidia's biggest customers in the US are major tech companies, and they're spending a ton on AI. And if a simple interpretation of DeepSeek is you can get really good models without spending as much on AI. So in that capacity, it's like, oh, maybe these big tech companies won't need to spend as much on AI and go down. The actual thing that happened is much more complex, where there's social factors, where there's the rising in the app store, the social contagion that is happening, and then I think some of it is just like I don't trade, I don't know anything about financial markets, but it builds up over the weekend, where the social pressure, where it's like if it was during the week and there was multiple days of trading when this was really becoming, but it comes on the weekend and then everybody wants to sell, and that is a social contagion.
I think, and like there were a lot of false narratives, which is like, hey, these guys are spending billions on models, right? And they're not spending billions on models. No one spent more than $1 billion on a model that's released publicly, right? GPT-4 was a couple hundred million, and then they've reduced the cost with 4.0, 4 Turbo 4.0, right? But $1 billion model runs are coming, right? This concludes pre-training and post-training, right? And then the other number is like, hey, DeepSeek didn't include everything, right? They didn't include, a lot of the cost goes to research and all this sort of stuff. A lot of the cost goes to inference. A lot of the cost goes to post-training. None of these things were factored.
Yeah.
It's research salaries, right? Like all these things are like counted in the billions of dollars that OpenAI is spending, but they weren't counted in the, hey, $6 million, $5 million that DeepSeek spent, right? So there's a bit of misunderstanding of what these numbers are. And then there's also an element of Nvidia has just been a straight line up, right? And there's been so many different narratives that have been trying to push down Nvidia. Not, I don't say push down Nvidia stock. Everyone is looking for a reason to sell or to be worried, right? It was Blackwell delays, right? Their GPU was, there's a lot of report every 2 weeks. There's a new report about their GPUs being delayed. There's the whole thing about scaling laws ending, right? It's so ironic, right?
It lasted a
It
month.
was it was just like literally just, hey, models aren't getting better, right? They're just not getting better. There's no reason to spend more. Pre-training scaling is dead. And then it's like O1, O3, right?
R1.
R1, right? And now it's like, wait, models are getting they're progressing too fast. Slow down the progress. Stop spending on GPUs, right?
Yeah.
But the funniest thing I think that like comes out of this is Javon's paradox is true, right? AWS pricing for H100s has gone up over the last couple weeks, right? Since a little bit after Christmas, since V3 was launched, AWS H100 pricing has gone up. H200s are like almost out of stock everywhere because H200 has more memory, and therefore R1 wants that chip over H100, right?
We were trying to get GPUs on a short notice this week for a demo, and it wasn't that easy. We were trying to get just like 16 or 32 H100s for demo, and it was not very easy.
So for people who don't know, Jevon's paradox is when the efficiency goes up, somehow magically, counterintuitively, the total resource consumption goes up as well.
Right, and semiconductors is, we're at 50 years of Moore's law. Every 2 years, half the cost, double the transistors, just like clockwork. And it's slowed down, obviously, but like the semiconductor industry has gone up the whole time, right? It's been wavy, right? There's obviously cycles and stuff, and I don't expect AI to be any different, right? There's going to be ebbs and flows, but this is in AI, it's just playing out at an insane timescale, right? It was 2x every 2 years. This is 1200x in like 3 years, right?
So I wanted them to like really get through their points really quick, and I didn't want to really interrupt well because I thought they were making some good points on some stuff, even if they don't understand the stock market as well as I may have or I may do. Let's say. So The first thing that I really want to like emphasize here is social pressure on the stock market is such a huge thing. You can tell when a stock is about to react a certain way just based on how everybody in the society does. And if it's in this and if it's on the weekend, it stacks up because no trading's done on the weekend. One of the best things about being on the East Coast is you're here, your time frame is consistent. It's easy to just like be on the clock with the same time that the trading market is open and whatnot. But this news came out on the weekend. Everybody wanted to sell. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, they don't know 100% facts. People aren't going off of 100% facts. They are not. They see a news thing. Somebody talks about something. They said there's a rumor that they were using cheaper Nvidia chips. They probably didn't disclose every little expense thing that everybody thinking is that all these other companies are. And I'm glad to hear this take because when we covered DeepSeek, we didn't have this information. We didn't give this take out, and it adds perspective to make these shows better. This show better in particular. Even when we're talking and reacting on our own. This is pretty much the most that we're gonna dive into this in a sense, but the scaling is crazy. No matter what, that if anything that showed you is that social constructs and social peer pressure causes certain companies a ton of money. Try not to curse, but a ton of money. It is insane how much money can be caused in all of these different ways. And how do you react to it? So what I did is I bought. As soon as that dip went down, it was like a little perfect dip in there. Ball right there at the bottom. Help me out. Everybody else want to sell? Like, do you not realize Nvidia for the past 2 years has been going up consistently, no matter what, and all these companies rely on them regardless. Even if DeepSeek used a cheaper chip, even if they did, it's still using Nvidia to get something that everybody loved for the weekend until an issue happened, and now DeepSeek isn't as big as it was. DeepSeek was a hype trend. That's what DeepSeek was. It was a quick trend. I don't hear nobody talking about DeepSeek anymore. After this, we probably won't even cover DeepSeek until they come out with some new crazy thing again. Just because I'm a tech podcast, I have to eventually cover it at one time or another. I have to. If it comes out, I'm going to find out something about it, and we're going to go over it again on this channel. So stick around. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to hear more about it later in the future. But these are just stuff that happens. Like, you can tell based on the narrative, everything. Nvidia right now, in my belief of covering all these tech companies, has been the most solid. And it took a dip because of what's going on in the social world. Does that amaze anybody? And they're talking about Nvidia versus DeepSeek. DeepSeek, if they're using Nvidia chips, they probably need Nvidia to survive. It shouldn't even be who's gonna win. Is Nvidia gonna keep winning? Of course Nvidia is going to. Jensen is intelligent as ever. And I'm actually, after recording this, I'm about to record another thing that Nvidia started doing. And I think it's amazing. And we're going to dive more into that because I believe they're the most solid tech company out right now. If that's crazy. Who disagrees? Who disagrees? If you disagree, let me know in the comments down below because I've been covering tech for over 2 years now, consistently, almost every single week. Last year, every single week. This year, every single week. Multiple different companies, industries, a bunch of different stuff that you can think of. People, they're the most consistent. And if you don't believe me, you can go look at my channel. We cover Nvidia a lot. We cover Jensen a lot. Why do you think that is? I wish I had a chat. I wish I live streamed. Why do y'all think it is? I think it's because they're the most consistent company to be out there. I think it's because they're one of the better companies out there. If I made a video for my top 5 tech companies for last year, Nvidia is number 1. The year prior, I forget who I put. I think I put OpenAI the year prior, but Nvidia is number 1. I learned so much more. That's actually a video I have to freaking work on next, eventually, to get all of that done. But it should be no competition for them. I'm sad that that was even a question. DeepSeek or Nvidia? Because they stock fell? Because of other people talking and rumors? Their stock dropped without people even having a full understanding of what DeepSeek was. DeepSeek didn't even have enough people or customers used on their projects to do anything. You know who DeepSeek impacted the most? OpenAI, closed source models. That's who they impacted the most, not Nvidia. Everybody who's open source, they are fine. Meta did great. Meta's open source. Everybody else, that's who it impacted, if anything. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate it. If you want to recommend any videos, go to the email in the description down below, devtalkspod@gmail.com, and send me any video links or any topics that you would like me to cover. Without further ado, if you want to see more videos like this, click the video that pops up right about now. And peace. See y'all next time.